It's one Newlywed's message about marriage. It's really exploded on the internet. 27-year-old Seth Adam Smith has written a blog about his fear of commitment in which he declared that marriage was just not for him. The post has been seen 25 million times and counting, probably more now. It's not exactly, though, what it seems.
Thank you.
Seth and Kim Smith, the picture-perfect image of young love.
Good.
Thanks. Mwah.
Kim and I met in high school when we were 15. Definitely the most beautiful girl I'd ever known.
Friends for nearly a decade, they fell in love and got married. But then, after just a year and a half,
we were living in the same house, but we were growing apart.
It's something 27-year-old Seth tackles in his highly viral and controversial new blog entitled, "Marriage Isn't For You." It begins by saying, having been married only a year and a half, I've recently come to the conclusion that marriage isn't for me.
My reaction was probably the same as a lot of people who saw the title.
Seth admits he always had doubts about marriage, but goes on to write that it was a heart-to-heart conversation with his dad before the wedding that changed everything.
He said, this decision to marry her is not about you. I mean, it's about the person you're marrying. And that just changed my entire way of thinking.
And one night, when frustration with his new wife turned to anger, Kim turned the tables, embracing him with kindness and love.
I really felt like I had two choices. I could react in anger and our relationship would get worse, or I could choose to try to see past my own frustrations and my own hurts and try to understand what Seth was feeling.
And in that instant, Seth had his aha moment.
I think the biggest thing that I learned from Kim's response was that this marriage wasn't about just me. It was also about the woman that I married. And somewhere in that, I had lost sight of who Kim was and what she needed and her hopes and her dreams.
Wow. All right. Well, joining us now to talk more about marriage is relationship coach Donna Barnes. And Donna, this has resonated in such a big way with people. Why do you think?
Yeah, I think because a lot of people think it or feel it and are afraid to say it. Yeah. Commitment issues are rampant. And I think, first of all, this guy got great advice from his father, because I think anytime you're feeling anxiety and that kind of stress, if you can take the attention off of you, it'll help relieve that anxiety. So that was awesome advice from his dad.
Well, and we get so many messages from our culture to say, no, think about yourself first. And he's saying, flip it around.
Well, you know, in a great way. If you're in a loving relationship that's really right for you and that has commonality, because commonality is what makes a relationship right for you. But if you're constantly trying to make your partner happy and your partner's doing the same, you'll both always be happy and it'll be the best relationship you ever had. It's when one person starts becoming selfish, and it's usually anxiety that causes it. You start that I love you, but, like, you know.
And it's so difficult. Two people who have a lot of stress in their lives, it's really difficult to come home and not act out that stress on each other, but instead try to comfort each other through what's going on. It's a difficult thing. It's not easy.
Absolutely. And kudos to this wife, because she saved her marriage. So many relationships, I get so many people that come to me and say, we had an amazing relationship, and then it's just over, and then they want it back.
So what, in a nutshell, what should they do? And I know you said kudos to her. Can you articulate to our viewers what
I think if you know yourself enough and you can recognize when you start feeling frustration, and a classic sign of commitment issues is when you start trying to find fault with your partner. So if your partner starts finding fault with you, if you don't defend yourself and you can recognize, okay, this is something that's going on bigger here, and you can take your emotions out of it and try to remain calm, you'll have a much better result.
Good advice.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Donna.